hospital was closed is because of the horrible stigma attached to leprosy. So it really kind of became a cursed place in the eyes of the population.
Little lion.
For tourists and locals alike to visit, to take in all the natural
some hot sauce in my burrito, baby.
In 2015,
it look good to me.
Classification as an intangible cultural heritage site by the state of Amazonas.
While you motherfuckers tune in, I'm gonna make myself a little drink. You see? Tequila.
In Estonia's capital, Tallinn, a peculiar building stands out on the shores of the Baltic Sea.
As you approach the water's edge, there's this structure. It looks almost like a sawed-off Aztec pyramid.
Seems strange and out of place with a thriving city.
In a prime location on Tallinn's harbor,
we're watching I'm watching fucking Home Alone, no kids, no nobody, just chilling.
It's pristine,
I'm watching
preserved at the moment of its abandonment.
Abandoned locations.
This place is tied to both Estonia's Soviet
love that show
and its fight for independence.
Like downtown go to. This is gonna be glitching. Hold
on. Soviet. I don't agree with this. It's totally mysterious. Something what will never be built anywhere in the Europe in near future.
Architect and politician.
Don't fuck around with no little cups. You know what I'm saying? I got a big ass motherfucker.
Peculiar structure from its earliest days.
Influencer is pyramids and ziggurats all around the world with these crazy staircases and architectonic.
For this meal,
and unfriendly.
Let's get into these ham hocks. Smoked ham hocks.
In defining modern Estonian
I don't know how many of you motherfuckers like ham hocks, but
in the thick of the action. Its story begins in 1974 when Moscow was selected to host the 1980 Olympic Games.
The Baltic nations, especially Estonia, always saw themselves as something very different from Russian culture. When the Russians recapture the area at the end of the Second World War, they see them as an occupying force.
As part of the Soviet Union, Estonia was brought into Moscow's Olympic preparations.
Part of the Summer Olympics in 1980, it called for a big yachting regatta. You couldn't do that in Moscow, so they had to have somewhere with a seacoast. That's why they choose Estonia.
The Olympics was the Soviets' chance to showcase socialism on the world stage, and Tallinn was to play host alongside Moscow.
But then they have to give the town a complete makeover. They refurbish hundreds of these beautiful old buildings in squares in Tallinn.
First check in.
The Estonians poured millions of rubles into Olympic projects. Among the most impressive of these projects were the Tallinn Olympic Yachting Center, the Olympia Hotel, and the
Feel free to start a conversation. Don't be shy.
The Linna Hall was another of these high-profile projects.
I'm just here pigging out.
It opened in 1980 as the V.I. Lenin Palace of Culture and Sport.
There was a program of entertainment planned to run in this hall throughout the Olympics. It was a chance for the Soviets to showcase the cultural, technological, and economic achievements of socialism.
Linna Hall is an advert.
From my Asian and my black folks hat. Well. I know you love them. I'm Hocks.
Under this roof, there is a ice hockey stadium. And over here, there is a main concert hall for 4,200 people. Country was closed, but Olympics gave us some kind of hope.
Yet a world-shocking event was about to derail years of planning at Linna Hall and crush Estonian dreams in the process.
Yep. On fire.
It's the NBA on Prime.
Tuesday and Wednesday, the quest for the cup goes into overdrive. It's the knockout rounds, back-to-back nights of lights-out double headers. The endless NBA Cup quarterfinals, December 9th and 10th, only on Prime.
Let's do this. You have a lot going on. At National University, we offer various support options to meet you where you are, because sometimes it takes a village to get where you deserve to be. Learn more at nu.edu.
This is a meal. We're talking a good food that makes you feel good meal. You feeling that? Now, meal this. A salad for the first time in a week meal. A catching up with your ex meal.
So I'll give you some tequila.
Been there. Ooh,
with
a
some
score
7 Up.
points meal. Thank you. Dry Spy and I need 5 minutes to myself meal. Whatever you're feeling, at Panera, it just feels good.
What motherfuckers up to? Check in, leave a comment, say something, hit a like.
1980, the Linahol building in Estonia's capital.
The only thing we biting around here is these Hocks.
Moscow Olympics. But years of work were about to come crashing down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Of the world. In 1979, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan with a massive force.
Major powers like the United States, West Germany, Canada, China, all decided to boycott the games.
In total, 65.
What's everybody up to? What y'all guys doing tonight?
In many
Started watching my fat ass eat.
not a success story, but for Estonia, it was a window to the world.
The international response added fuel to the fire of a budding independence movement.
It gave us some experience that Estonians, not alone, because
Tap in. What city you from? Where you at? Where you watching from?
supported our independence.
Let a motherfucker know.
The one room at Linahol that's still in use holds reminders of this time.
This is a recording studio, and Estonians managed to make music and songs as a political instrument.
What began as a revival of Estonian folk songs in the 1980s became known as the Singing Revolution.
These large groups of people would come together and sing nationalist songs in the Estonian language.
You had a crowd of 100,000 singing these national songs in defiance of the Soviet authorities.
As a rising young politician, Ignat Vyuk was at the center of this new independence movement.
In 1987, in May, I organized first
Amazing people, amazing motherfuckers like him Hocks. You like the pig feet.
in not only in Estonia but in Soviet Union.
We got these slow roasted pork legs.
All kind of declaration and proposal to change life. In this hall, in Linahal, was an official and formal constitutional assembly to establish Popular Front. It was 1st of October
Caveman style.
1988.
Citizens of Tallinn gathered on the steps of Linahol to
Hoochie
celebrate
daddy, where you at? Hoochie daddy?
step towards independence.
After the Popular Front was
So who cares where you at, bro?
Supreme Council adopted the Declaration of Sovereignty of Estonia, and as
Come get a bite.
wrote the first page of that declaration. This is a history.
In August 1991, a coup in Moscow that would trigger the collapse of the Soviet Union gave Estonia the opportunity to finally declare independence.
This new country finds itself inheriting the V.I. Lenin Palace of Culture and Sport.
Motherfucker want some of
The
this?
first thing they did was they changed the name to Linahol, which is Estonian for City Hall.
See what that skin do.
Having witnessed a great turning point in history, Linahol's position in Tallinn's future became uncertain.
And the Estonians have struggled to do something with this place. It's outsized for a country as small as Estonia. They've tried to use it as a concert hall.
There was a nightclub called Lucky Luke's, but it burned down. You can see that there's a general trajectory of sad decline here.
This was a building that had lost its direction.
Without a clear plan for how best to use Linahol, It finally closed its doors in 2010.
All right. Thanks for that like. Appreciate it. Comment. I'm good. Where you guys watching from? What's up? Start a little conversation. Let's get something going. While I pick out.
Recently, its most prominent use was as a filming location for Christopher Nolan's.
A little hustle on my hand hope.
There's a scene that is supposedly playing out in the Opera House in Kiev,
Yeah, buddy.
Ukraine, but it's actually filmed in the 4,200-seat auditorium deep inside the Linna Hall in Tallinn.
You can't ignore the fact that this is a cultural icon, and it's entangled in the history of Estonia, in Estonia's fraught relationship with the Soviet Union, and in the story of Estonia's independence.
50 miles north of Germany's capital, Berlin, is a ghostly derelict estate.
We're in this gentle landscape of farmlands, forests, and lakes. Then you see these white buildings.
Down for a shot.
Few dead trees
Down for a shot.
around them.
I got 2 bottles just in case that one runs out.
Pretty rough shape, but they look
freaky.
and in the day.
Inside the main building, it becomes clear that this wasn't a private residence.
It feels quite eerie.
Anybody ever have ham
In the
hocks?
sense that this might have been some kind of a clinical place, a hospital ward.
This abandoned facility is a tale of 2 Germanys, with a tragic ending.
This place started as an attempt to live up to mankind's highest ideals, but over time it ended on a very different note.
Crystal Lau owns this site today. She spent years investigating the events that took place here during the 20th century.
This is Dongyu. The complex was built in 1902. That's fine. It was very modern at the time.
These haunting-looking buildings started life as a psychiatric
Thank you for stopping by, checking it out.
Pioneering practice.
Just stuffing my fat ass right here.
So this Dongyu Asylum, as it was known, and it reflected a sea change in how mental illness was treated.
Are you like a caveman?
At first, the belief was that people needed to be locked away with criminals, and eventually
Tequila with Sprite. Tequila with 7-Up.
People needed care for the symptoms that they had.
And even today, everyone remembers the names of Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. The idea that psychiatric problems were a form of illness, that it was treatable.
Be sure I hit that like.
One devotee of this changing view of psychotherapy was Dr. Carl Serger.
Dr. Zerger was able to get funding to construct this new type of asylum, someplace pleasant in the countryside, open and airy, a place where the patients would receive medical treatment, but also be able to live in an environment that was conducive to getting better.
He was enthusiastic about it, and so he took over the structures and built large halls for beds. Here he built 2 dormitories with 32 beds each for 64 patients.
Dr. Serger rejected the traditional methods for dealing with violent patients.
There were these padded cells that had these very large windows and no bars. And this was so that the patients wouldn't feel as confined.
One resident was artist Wilhelm Müller.
We don't know exactly what his condition was. Some people speculate that it was schizophrenia. But he had an artistic talent, and the hospital encouraged his interest in art.
Abandoned locations.
And he would stand in his room and paint the view
Best shoulder relaxed
out of his window. Now,
my
it might
groceries
seem
are
like
boring.
painting the same view.
I just use it for relaxation.
Something that a mentally ill person might
Take a
do.
good nap
But,
to it.
you know, if you look at some
Learn
of the
some
great
shit.
artists, Monet painted
See
the
some
same
shit.
scenes multiple times in slightly different ways.
admire
so
some
Wilhelm
shit.
Mueller, he painted like 110 paintings during his time there. And he gives us a real window into Dommu and its workings during its heyday.
The idyllic life wouldn't last long. A shocking scandal involving Dr. Serger would mark the beginning of Dommu's downfall.
Dommu's.
I'd cast my hands in cement so I wouldn't stack.
What about wonderful pistachios? They're tasty and coffee.
Ah, pistachios. Why can't I get that? Duh.
Yeah.
AT&T's fast, reliable network makes it so easy to stay connected to my drivers. Yeah, let's go. Almost there,
You don't want to let it loose.
Not quite.
There's all the little tendons wrapped around that bone. It's just,
Always wanted to dance.
that's the most delicious part.
Struck out with the cheap seats. Important thing.
It has like a little crunch to it, a little bite, a little snap.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
In the early 1900s, Dommu Psychiatric Hospital was a shining light in the treatment of mental illness. Dr. Carl Serger was the pioneer behind it.
By all accounts, Dr. Serger was a humane,
So like a dog or a caveman whenever I eat this motherfucker.
administrator of this mental hospital. But his private life was problematic.
Have you ever boiled beans? Pinto, like pinto beans?
Jealousy in his colleagues.
Add ham hocks into it?
Accused Serger of having an affair with the head nurse in the facility.
Serger was a
Releases a
married man,
little
and
grease,
when news reached
extra
the
fat
medical
into the beans.
association, it led to a
And that
tragic
flavors the
turn
ham
of
hock a little bit,
events.
smoky, beanie flavor.
This kind of behavior was a terrible scandal. And Dr. Serger ultimately took his own life.
If you like pig
Like a
feet,
Shakespearean tragedy and a double blow for
Feel
the
like this.
facility, the head nurse is also said to have committed suicide.
So this is quite awful because, we see
So,
the people
this part right here,
really kind of
it's the knuckle.
helping this place along and developing it.
Right here where the foot goes, the feet.
Dr. Serger was laid to
And this
rest
part leads up
in
to the leg.
Dommu's very own cemetery.
So if you ever have a pork leg, you see how it has
But
those
his
two tubes,
legacy of
right?
humane treatment
Going up to the
didn't
thigh.
last. In the 1930s,
Have you ever seen a pig feet or
Germany
pig foot?
embarked on a path
It has these
that
right here.
had tragic consequences.
Anybody
for
eats
the
pickled
patients here.
feet, pickled pig feet? Y'all know what I'm talking about.
When the Nazis
But if
came
you
to
don't,
power,
then you don't.
they
But
brought
all the
with
tendons
them
in
a
here,
new set of ideas about eugenics, about improving
beer
the
snack.
human race, or at least the German race.
But when you're drinking,
So the Nazis are just obsessed with manipulating the gene pool to create a master race.
but right now we're
Part of
drinking.
creating the master race is flushing out any groups in the population that threaten the image of strength.
In July 1933, a new law was declared across Nazi Germany, the sterilization law.
One of
Two more?
the first campaigns was to eradicate hereditary diseases or mental illness or other things they thought might pass on
Yeah,
from
buddy.
parent to child.
About 400,000 Germans were probably sterilized during this time. That's about 1% of the childbearing population.
So of course, this campaign started
Hard to
in
break
many
off, yeah.
hospitals. Many of the patients at Dommu and other
Pig knuckles.
institutions were sterilized against their will.
Eugenics had become an established global movement, with support in countries such as the US, Britain, and Canada. But the Nazis would take it to the next level.
In 1939,
Sterilization was approved in America. That's what they're talking about right there. And the Nazis took it to another level.
to start a program
In September
euthanize
1st, Berlin,
those people that were considered
Denmark,
unfit
in
to live in
1939.
society.
Crazy motherfuckers.
Specifically, they will kill everyone afflicted with mental illness.
Dom Yu cannot escape.
If you had a mental illness, they'll sterilize you.
July 11th,
So you don't breed with nobody.
was the darkest day for Dom Yu.
Or they will kill you.
In this place, 100 patients were packed into dark grey buses. Many of them certainly did not get on voluntarily.
That's crazy. I didn't know the U.S. approved of that shit.
Patients were taken to one of the 6 euthanasia facilities that have been established by the program.
Not every
6 euthanasia programs or
the
houses.
horror unfolding.
The people could see what was going on. They knew what was happening. And so after a series of protests, Hitler did end the program in August of 1941.
The Germans learned a lot from the program, and Hitler realized that it was harder to convince the public that healthy people ought to be put to death against their will. In the future, he would run his extermination programs with a great deal more secrecy.
Hitler was crazy.
At the end of the Second World War, Dom Yu passed into the hands of the Soviet Union.
They take Dom Yuk and they basically convert it into a barracks and headquarters for a Soviet unit that's part of the garrison of
I heard my gun with the lieutenant.
They controlled the facility until the reunification of Germany in the 1990s. They left the original buildings pretty much intact.
Today, the Association for the Preservation of Dom Yu
trash.
Their hard work helps keep the memory alive of both Dr. Serger's innovative practices and the victims of Hitler's ruthless policies.
100 motherfuckers in the ain't saying nothing. Bees in the trap. Bees in the trap.
Everyone's cheering for Ella McKay, the new James L. Brooks comedy for the holidays.
What the fuck y'all doing besides watching my fat ass eat?
Emma Mackey's performance,
Saturday night.
I can do it. I can make people's lives better.
Nobody had plans today or what?
Favorite community health program?
Let's just scroll through Facebook. I mean YouTube.
How are you, Estelle? I'm killing. I think I'm peaking.
Ella McKay, rated PG-13, only in theaters.
Oh yeah.
A breeding ground for on America's eastern seaboard.
It's no wonder that this provided inspiration for Stranger Things.
In Poland, a sparkling subterranean wonderland under threat.
The tunnels are shrinking over time, and the whole thing will eventually disappear.
And a revolutionary solution to London's malodorous dilemma.
When the upper classes are smelling it, you know there's a problem.
When the upper class ain't smelling it, you know there's a problem.
Ruins of lost worlds.
I saved the last one for my son. This one. I'm definitely sucking up the third one. Oh, bless you. Bless me. Bless you. Shot for you motherfuckers.
In Suffolk County, Long Island, is a decaying village built under a veil of secrecy.
This was made to look like an innocent Long Island village. But it's not.
There's what looks like a boarded up church, with its steeple now crumbling.
Deeper in the woods, monolithic concrete structures begin to appear.
You get the feeling that
after that, we'll get into the skin. It's my favorite part.
Hidden is happening.
Towering above everything is this rusting hulk of metal concrete.
We've got warning
Did we get it over at Walmart?
We've got very clear boundaries
Try this
about
shit.
who is allowed in here.
Nashville hot
At a time
sandwich
of
sauce.
national peril, this
So put it on chicken.
would become the focus of some wild
Yes, sir. Try it on some ham hocks.
Abducted children, time travel. This place has become the stuff of conspiracy lore.
She's like chamoy kind of not really hot.
Historian Henry Osmers first came here on vacation when he was 7 years old. He later spent many years researching this site and knows
the little vinegar taste from there.
When you see the building from the outside, it had the appearance of a church.
Yes, sir.
But when you look inside from this angle, you can see that there is the remnants of a basketball hoop still attached to the wall.
So why disguise a gym as a church? Who was doing it? And what were they hiding?
This is Camp Hero, a clandestine complex built in 1942 to defend America's shores.
A gym as a church.
Hitler declares war on America in December of 1941, and America is not ready for war.
The area, being sparsely populated, seemed to be a likely land building. They were disguised to look like an ordinary New England fishing village from the air. So if there was an enemy plane coming over, they probably wouldn't think anything of it.
In Europe, the Nazi conquest was swift and brutally efficient. Launching a direct assault on U.S. soil would take far more planning. Instead, they waged war in the Atlantic.
Germany realized just how much of a threat the full military and industrial might of the United States would be to their war effort.
So Hitler gets his sub-commanders to start sinking American ships.
By April 1942, German U-boats had sunk more than 100 vessels off the United States East Coast, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean Sea. Many of these attacks were less than a few miles from land. The Americans
I'm watching a documentary and shit about band locations.
And their shipping.
So in 1939, America supported a motherfucking Nazis
that were placed here in Camp Hero.
killing people that were retarded or had special needs.
16-inch gun mounted in there.
Yeah, in 1941, stupid Hitler declared war on the U.S. Like, what the fuck? Weren't they agreeing with each other at one point, and now they're fucking...
By putting heavy
Hitler's trying to just attack us?
On the tip
Like, what went wrong? What the fuck?
New York, Boston, London, Providence can all
The world is a fucking trippy place.
Despite their fearsome power, the guns were never unleashed on an enemy. As it soon became clear, the Nazis did not have the capacity to launch a full-scale invasion of the U.S. At the end of the war, the weapons were taken out of service. But Camp Hero's strategic location meant it was soon put to use against America's new adversary, the Soviet Union.
So the U.S. went after the Soviet Union right after the fucking Nazis.
In 1951 and renamed it the Montauk Air Force Station.
In 1960,
so in 1939, U.S. and Germany agreed, right, the Nazis. And in 41, Hitler declared war on the USA.
Means that if
in 41
bombers are inbound
and in 19
from somewhere east,
51 or 2,
could be detected
like 10 years later,
away to be shot
fucking U.S. and Russia are going at it.
As soon as the radar was switched on, locals noticed something strange.
It was causing a lot of interference with television reception in the Montauk area. There was one gentleman who said it would always seem to happen during a football game. Just as the guy was running toward the end zone to score a touchdown, the screen would go to snow.
The radar was in constant operation until it became outdated in the 1980s. The Air Force soon shut down the base and left it to decay. Shortly after, allegations began to surface that Camp Hero was at the center of a vast conspiracy.
A book
was published that contained some pretty wild claims about Camp Hero and its radar tower.
Camp Hero.
I can remember hearing talk of something called the Montauk Project, probably in the mid-90s. Initially, what I heard was that there were experiments being done below ground that involved actually beaming people from one place to another, kind of like a Star Trek type thing.
Oh, fuck.
Conspiracy theorists speculated that
They were beaming people
was a secret
in
government
the 1990s.
dabbling with psychological warfare and even time travel. And that this site held the evidence to prove it.
Have a blessed weekend. Stay safe up there. Don't drink and drive. If you do, you're a fool. Peace and love to everybody.